Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. Welcome to Freelancer Live. 1 minute early as per the usual, just checking the connection, making sure all is good. Once you guys get on, let me know if you can see me and hear me okay. Just want to make sure it is working all right. Happy Friday, happy Friday. I am so excited to chat with Ariana today. She's getting on right now. We'll have her in a moment. Okay. Ariana, I'm just going to wait to get you in until 2 p.m. so that if anybody is joining right at 2, they don't miss anything. So I'll just wait 1 moment, but I see your request, so you'll be coming in a sec. Almost there. I hope everyone's having a great Friday. It is World Entrepreneur Day, so happy World Entrepreneur Day to everyone, especially to my guests today. All right, Ariana, here we go. Let me get you in here. Let's see. Oh. Hi.
Hello.
There you are. I was
sorry. I knew that
once I did it.
as I was sitting here. I'm sitting in the front room of my house, and my little dog was like, "Oh, well, we're sitting in the front room. That must mean somebody's coming to visit." Because so she's like she's not ringing the bell and telling me to open the door. So I opened the door for her. But just my luck, it was just as we picked up.
I voted yes that she should be in the video. So please.
She will make an appearance, I'm sure. But right now she thinks that there's a guest coming because I got all dressed up. You know?
That's so cute.
She's very smart. So when I sit down and I start like putting on eye makeup, she goes, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" She's smart. So
that is so
she's here.
smart.
Yes, she is.
What is her name?
This is Dorothy.
Dorothy
has been a fantastic assistant through all of COVID. She's really taken on all my social media management. She's great.
That is, see, she's very, very smart.
She is really smart.
And you said that she rings a bell when she thinks someone's at the door?
Oh, she rings the bell to say, "I want to open the door." But I saw on TikTok, there was this person who has their dog press buttons to tell them things.
That too.
So we started with the buttons. And, well, now she tells me what to do.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Drew and I have been wanting a dog but not ready to like take the plunge for like years now, so we're just like obsessed with anything like that. It's so cute.
It is really cute until like the first time you teach them the button treat, you're like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cute." And then when you're cooking and they hit the button, they're like, "Give it to me now." You're like, a little intense now. You know?
That is so funny. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Ariana, for being here with me today. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course. I'm just going to start off by letting people know what this is, just in case someone's joining for the first time, and how this is going to work. Then I'll formally introduce you with your awesome bio, and then we'll get into some questions, and you can share what's going on in your life.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So welcome to Freelancer Live. If this is your first time joining us today, this is a series that I started back in May. I was seeing so many people, so many of my friends, fellow entrepreneurs, artists and musicians just sort of sharing what they were going through during COVID. And I just wanted to open up a platform for people to share their stories, share their businesses, get some more eyes on their businesses. And so I started Freelancer Live. It's a series that goes on every Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where I interview small business owners, gig workers, and freelancers. And I've had such a great array of guests, and I'm so excited to have you here today, Ariana. What this is going to look like is we'll chat for about 30 minutes. If you have any questions for Ariana or for myself, you can add them in the comments. Let us know if you really like something you're hearing or want to cheer something on, because just wait until you hear everything that she's been doing during this whole pandemic. It's pretty insane and amazing. Give her some claps, some raised hands, whatever you want to do. Please send us that praise, and make sure that you also follow. I'm going to put her name and handles in the comments right now, so you can make sure to follow her. But here we go. I am going to start off, Ariana, with your bio so people know who we're talking to today. So, Ariana is a professional violinist who performs in Connecticut's premier symphony orchestras, ballets, Broadway tours, and operas. She began playing for weddings while earning her Master's of Music degree from the Hart School and enjoyed it so much that she created her own company, Ariana Strings LLC. Ariana also has a passion for music, education, and runs a small private Suzuki studio where she teaches violin to children ages 3 and up, which is all amazing. And it's so funny, Ariana, when you posted yesterday, you're like, wait, I can't believe I'm being interviewed. Like, I'm a real business owner and I do stuff and I'm a real, like, adult. I was like, not only are you a business owner, you successfully run 2 businesses at the same time, your studio and the wedding music and music for events. So I would just love to hear more about sort of, we know a little bit about how you got into it, but sort of your journey from when you started playing violin all the way through up to where you are now.
Absolutely, sure. Thank you for the intro. Yeah, so I started playing violin when I was 4, and I mean, I loved it, and I enjoyed it. And eventually, over the years, you do all these things. You do your youth orchestras and symphonies, and you do like auditions for all states. I'm sure you like know all that stuff too from
Yeah.
your side of things. So like you get into all this stuff, and then you're like, well, I can't really make a career out of that. So I went to liberal arts school. And I thought I was gonna like find this other passion, and then I
Yeah.
kept going to music courses, and I kept doing more and more music. And I said, oh, I think this is the passion, isn't it? So I decided to transfer to a conservatory and actually study music. And then as I was when I was in music school, it's a really frequent thing for people to look for students to play for their wedding.
Yeah.
And so someone said, do you want to play for a wedding? And I said, sure, why not? I've never played for a wedding. Cool. And after, getting into it and realizing how much goes into it, like a lot of the time the brides would want to meet with me and work on music, I really enjoyed coming out of my classical music bubble and meeting people. Like, I mean, as a classical musician, you spend a lot of time in a practice room, kind of isolated, learning about Mahler and Beethoven. And then it's kind of rare to come out and have someone be like, hey, can you play this Beatles song for me? I'm like, oh, I love the Beatles, of course,
Yeah.
So it all started to just kind of grow from there. People started asking me to play as a soloist. And then one day it was, hey, what about a duet? I said, oh, I could buy some duet books. And so I called up one of my friends and said, let's play as a duet. And then next thing you know, it was a trio, and then a quartet, and then a violin and guitar duet. And then next thing you know, I'm playing for 70 weddings a year.
That's insane.
It's nuts. It's really, really nuts. I still can't really believe it.
Wow. What incredible, like, just organic growth for you and your business. It just kind of seemed to happen just because people loved what you did and kept booking you. Like, that's incredible.
Well, I also have like a massive attention to detail. Like, I think some people will come to a wedding and then they'll play it and be happy with however it went. But for me, I'm like, oh, well, next time I want to do this way. And I want to make sure I have this that way. And next thing you know, I was like, oh, I'll build a website. That would be cool. And oh, actually, I really like this and I like that. And next thing you know, it all grew because just from enthusiasm and support. It's really nice how it all fell not apart, fell together.
Yeah.
Came together.
Yeah. I love that. That's so true. You do have an incredible attention to detail. For anyone who doesn't know this, the band that my husband and I run, the Metropolitan Players, we work with Ariana all the time, especially when we're in Connecticut, to help us book the best string players, because she does have that attention to detail that we have also, and it's actually very hard to find. And so just like being able to work with you and put that together and know that like you're going to provide something just as incredible as we expect is really, really amazing. So I am totally on that train of like.
So that means so much to me to hear, because when you first called me to play for you guys that first time, I was like, oh, it's a band, like asking for a violinist. They probably have no idea what's going on, because I've worked with so many people who have no idea what's going on. I mean, it's all over the industry. Let's be real here.
It really is, yeah.
And then I showed up and you had every detail in place so impeccably. I was taking notes. I was like, okay, you know what? I like how she did this timeline thing. I'm taking that. I'm going to do that. What a great idea. And so I have been really like very fascinated by how you run your business and very inspired by how you do everything. So I'm always taking notes. Anytime you call me, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, I get to learn something else. This is great.
You're so sweet. You're so sweet. It's honestly our pleasure. We've had such a blast working with you, and you're always so prepared and like ready to jump in. Yeah, we love it. And so I'd love to hear a little bit. So you said you typically play around, is it 70 weddings a year is sort of like typical for you?
Yeah, I mean, it started off as 35, then 45, then 50, then 60, then 70, and then the last 2 years it was 70, and then COVID hit. And so
Yeah,
we had 50 on the books this year, and COVID hit.
yeah. So tell me about what that process was like for you. Just like however you want to answer it, whether that's like mentally what it felt like for you or like, okay, I'm back. Sorry. Got a call. Okay, hold on. Wait. One. Okay.
There we go.
So, sorry. Yeah, I just got a phone call, turned on my do not disturb. It's not going to happen again. Sorry about that. Um, but I'd love to hear sort of what your process was like when everything happened and sort of how you navigated that situation once again, either like mentally or just logistically, how you handled that through your business. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, for the two businesses, if you think about me teaching my students, the second that they said that there was a pandemic and it had hit Italy, I said, it's coming here. I mean, I may be a little bit chicken little, the sky is falling sometimes, but in this case, it worked in my favor.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to teach my students online. That is safer. And I did everything online, and I learned, I learned all about Zoom and microphones and setup, and I made a little home office. My husband stole my actual home office, but I made another one, so it's okay. But when it came to weddings and couples, I wasn't really worried about it at first. Like we had a couple of we had a March wedding, a few April weddings and May weddings, and I knew that they were going to be affected. But I really kind of thought that things might shape up by September. And then as it went on, I said, ooh, this isn't going very well. So each time within this time, obviously, like we had a lot of free time when everything was canceled. When we were on lockdown, I took it as a big opportunity to just do a big overhaul, cleaning out my closets, going through all of my sheet music, relabeling everything, updating the sheet music library on the website, doing new arrangements, creating a COVID policy, and re-examining my contracts because COVID did bring up a lot of that.
Yeah.
So we had those things to do. And then it got really hands-on. So the free time kind of went out the window once each postponement came in, because every postponement that comes in, you have a couple who doesn't know whether they really want to move their wedding. Is it a good idea to move my wedding, or will it be safe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So first you have the will I, won't I? And then it's we have a bunch of different dates we're considering. Do any of those work? And then at a certain point, our 2021 had already had bookings in it anyway. So then all the 2020 couples coming into 2021, then we had to figure out what to do. And luckily, I have a team of players that, I've contracted them with you, so they're fantastic players, and I only pick the same players over and over again. I know that's favoritism, but it's also really good because everybody knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So everyone knows my music. They all know exactly what I want done at that wedding, and they know what the details are. And they know that they can rely on me to gather all those details and have them ready for them. So we basically are maxed out for next year. It's wild.
Yeah. It's so crazy. I actually haven't spoken on one of these freelancer lives yet with someone else in the wedding industry. So I haven't had a chance to talk about this a lot, but that is like everything you're saying. I'm just like, yeah, that's exactly what we went through too. It was like a moment of like, okay, we have this time, like let's pick up these old projects, let's get some stuff organized. Like we're not going to be playing for a while. And then it was like the reschedulings, and it was such a puzzle just to put everything together and like find out, okay, which dates are we still available in 2021 now that everyone's shifting? And like,
Mm-hmm.
how do we navigate these weddings that are, still happening, but downsizing? So I'd love to hear. I know that you've been playing weddings recently
Yes.
and for actually a pretty long time since outdoor events started opening up and social distance weddings started happening on a smaller scale. When did that start happening for you, and what was that like, sort of navigating that with the couples? And like, did they change the makeup of the group? Like, how did all of that work for you?
So anybody who had an existing booking with us typically decided to either move the entire wedding to 2021 and then have a mini Moni. I
Yeah,
love that word, mini Moni.
it's cute.
They like having a mini Moni this year. And in that case, they usually asked me to perform as a soloist or maybe a duet. And early on, they were very concerned with the numbers, so we kept to solo. And then as time has gone on, people have gotten a little bit braver because you can go up to, initially it was, now we're at 100 outdoors in Connecticut. So you can have a duo, you can have a quartet even. So it's progressed pretty naturally, but it was very strange, like the very first wedding that came in, somebody said, we had a wedding planned, we can't do it, we're going to get married in a little garden on the Yale campus, and we just want a violinist. And so all these new bookings of people who just wanted something small, but they wanted me to come in to make it more special and sort of more formal than that. So we've been able to adapt, but it's kind of like going back to my roots because I started as a soloist. That was
Yeah.
the garden wedding thing.
Yeah. It's just so interesting, and I'm so happy that you were open to just being willing to change your model in a way for the time being, just to continue to provide what you do to these couples who are, their worlds probably feel like they've just been turned upside down. I mean, everyone's world has been turned upside down, but I think like the added level of planning a wedding during this time and then having to navigate all of your vendors and what you're doing and if you're going to hold something small or not, like, it's just, a
Well, I
mess.
think for you also have you're at the disadvantage of having to you're doing the reception where they can't have all of their guests. And
Yeah.
for a ceremony, for an hour to stand outside in a park, I'm sort of at an advantage because I'm only there for a small portion of the day. And so they can have that there. Like, they don't have to worry about me being set up on a bandstand and having airflow and all this stuff. It's just me set up in a violin, set up in a park with a violin.
Yeah.
So I have that flexibility, so we just played into that. And I said, yeah, I would be happy to come out. And we did. So it
That's
was all really nice.
That's amazing. Good for you that you've been able to do that. I'm so happy that you've been able to work, because as you know, especially during this time, like, everything changed, everything got canceled, especially for people in the events industry and in the music industry. So I'm just so happy that something came out of it that was sort of like new and exciting, even though most things got pushed or changed.
Yeah.
Um, I really would love to hear from like your perspective as a business owner, having worked with so many musicians and having so many musicians sort of on your roster that of course you trust just like we do. What is that process? What was that process like, sort of with rescheduling in relation to your contractors, and how did you communicate with them through this time?
So, I mean, I hire all symphony musicians. So we all had received the emails from Eastern Connecticut Symphony, Hartford Symphony saying, oh, well, we'll see you next year, maybe.
Yeah.
And so everybody wiped their 2020 calendar clean and said, all right, this is what it's going to be. And I reached out to everyone. I said, listen, um, I'm going to keep you posted on each event. Chances are they're going to be postponed, but if it's postponed, you will be the first person that is assigned to it when it has a new date. So yes, we do have to wait, in order to perform that booking and to get paid for that booking. So that does put a strain on things. Contract wise, as things open up, it's actually gotten way more complicated. Because initially, the rules were pretty clear. You kept everything very small. It was very, very strict. And now we have these changing rules that update every 2 weeks. These travel quarantine, travel bans and things that change very, just really frequently.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot you can count on. So each individual contractor, I've had to reach out to them about what they are specifically comfortable doing and performing. And then each event that comes in, like anytime that's an inquiry, I now have to ask them how they're preparing for COVID, because a lot of couples, if the couples have a venue, the venue has them covered. If they have a wedding planner, the planner is made sure that to a T that they are covered. But if they're doing it on their own, trying to do something in a backyard or in a park, they might not know. And so now I'm in the position of informing them of what the rules are. And so I have to do a lot of research every day. That doesn't have to do with the contractors, but
right.
Each
It's
thing that
still
comes in, I have to
important,
assure my contractors that they are going to be safe when they're there, because not everybody is going to respect the rules all the time. So I have to go above and beyond and make sure that every detail is in place so that we are protected.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm glad you're doing that. It's kind of interesting being in this place as a vendor and like trying to share as much information as you can, but also knowing that you only can control so much the day of a wedding when it's happening. And I think that's been the craziest thing for us to navigate, is that, you know, we're providing masks and hand sanitizer and we're sanitizing everything. And we have like, you know, windscreens for our vocalists that they like take with them and take back so they're not sharing. Like, it's just, we're doing everything we can, but then, you know, we're the party. So once guests start drinking, you just don't know what's going to happen. There's only like so much you can plan ahead. So a lot of it is on the contractors to give us their level of comfortability, whether they're comfortable doing it or not, which is just something that's so new given this virus that we've never had to think about before.
I've also noticed that the word comfort has often been like the key word to let people know whether or not you're willing to let safety slide. Yeah. So people will say, "Are you comfortable?" And what they really, you know, sometimes I think what the answer is that they want is, "Oh yeah, actually I hate this mask. Let me rip this off. It would look so much better without that silly old thing." So I've noticed that the word comfort, I'm trying to stay away from that word now, because it's become this euphemism for, are you comfortable? Can we dispose of these silly safety rules? And it's a really difficult position to be in, because when you are participating in someone's wedding day and you're trying to create an atmosphere that is romantic, and suddenly now you're an enforcer of Connecticut rules and guidelines.
Yeah.
That's not very romantic.
No, not so much. Yeah, it's so true, but I'm sure that your couples are so appreciative of what you're sharing, because like I was saying before, I think it's just confusing for people, and the rules are changing all the time, and like as they're trying to navigate telling their guests what's going on, and maybe like planning a virtual aspect along with an in-person aspect, and figuring out, okay, what do we do for food and how do we make that safe now? Like all of those details, like not the last thing that they have time to do, but kind of is like really follow daily what's going on and what the changes are and what's supposed to happen and what can and can't. And so I mean, it's amazing that you're taking the time to do that for your clients and for your musicians, so that you know what you can do to keep them as safe as you possibly can. That's amazing. It's a lot of extra work, but it's awesome.
It is. But throughout this time, I did find that because it was so much extra work, I did need an assistant. So that was an additional cost I didn't expect. But my assistant is here. Come here. Come here. Come. Hey, come on. Oh, she thinks someone's at the door, so she just ran away. She stole my thunder. I'm sorry. She come here. Come see the world of Instagram. Come here. Come here.
We want to see her.
Oh.
There she is.
This is my assistant. She does graphic design, web design, and I think she also helps smooth things over a lot. Like when it comes to a Zoom meeting where someone's trying to figure out a postponement, she just knows exactly what to say. She does not stick her foot in her mouth. I mean, literally she can, but not often.
She's so smart.
She really is.
I thought you were serious for real, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. You hired an assistant, and you're like, come here. That is so funny.
No, but she has really enjoyed me being home all the time to do my work. And like initially, because things had slowed down, in a way it was a lot calmer. And I felt like I can print one thing at a time and go to the printer, pull it up, like do my hole punches. I like to do everything like very methodically. Yeah. And normally I'm like rushing through, like go, try and get it all together. And during a wedding season, like traditionally you get, there's engagement season and then there's wedding season. And engagement season happens while I have symphony season going on. So, Monday through Thursday, you've got your wedding bookings that come in, and then you also manage, practicing for symphonies and stuff. So I didn't have to rush too much that way, but now there's no real engagement season happening. Now we have 2020 and 2021 booking at the same time. And each person has all these different needs, and it's crazy. So now I'm like running back and forth to the printer, like, ah!
It's so true.
If she could learn how to use a stapler, that'd be really cool.
You know what? If you've been training her so far to do what she's already doing, I'm sure you can train her to use a stapler.
Yeah, but she's going to want to get paid. She's going to.
Fair wages for Dorothy.
Fair wages. Yes, it's true. She's a smart cookie. It's true. Yes, she's good.
That is so cute. That's so cute. Yeah, you're so right. I mean, what was it like for you? Like, let's say on the personal side, like, did you have the opportunity to sort of reevaluate anything? And is there anything that you've changed either in your personal life or business based on the pandemic and sort of this change in what was going on in your life?
So, I mean, typically I'm playing in a lot of symphonies, and as a freelancer, a lot of symphony orchestras don't hold auditions. They hire you as a substitute, and then they say, wow, you did a good job, we'll hire you again. Because auditions are pretty expensive and they're time consuming to hold. So I would zoom around between different orchestras, and I found that I could not keep up with symphony and teaching at the same time. So I had actually backed off of my studio a little bit. I hadn't been accepting new students unless they were very enthusiastic. And I made sure that I could give them a consistent time slot each week. So if I have to leave at 5:45 on the button to drive all the way up to New London to perform, then I can't teach anybody past 5:45.
Right.
With Symphony's gone, I said, okay, I have some time to take some things on, but there were some things about my teaching method that I was not happy with. I had seen some students fall through the cracks, and I thought, how can I help them better? So over the pandemic, I've been doing research into different teaching methods and philosophies, and I actually did some teacher training in a new method called kaleidoscopes, so I'm really excited about that. And the pandemic, actually, there were some silver linings because I had the time to do that. And now I'm taking on new students, and I feel even more excited because I feel like I can fix their problems.
Yeah. That's so awesome. That's so great. Drew and I were just talking the other day about how we feel like there are just a couple camps of where people are with how they've been managing the changes in the pandemic. And I think the way that you've looked at things is, the best way, just seeing like, what can I do to help now that there's one thing, and maybe I don't have extra time because things are crazy and rescheduling and all that stuff. It's not like you have extra time, but you have maybe a little extra like room or energy to focus on something like fixing a problem that you knew was happening that you just didn't have the space in your brain for before. Like,
Exactly.
that's the way to do it. It's just finding those silver linings and finding what you can do during this time that I think has sort of like allowed any of us who are just still making it, still going, still like trying to get through day by day, like that's what keeps us moving, is just knowing that there's something positive at the end, even if it's, a lot to manage. It's still like, it's great that you've been doing that and focusing on the bright side versus all the things we lost. Because
I can go and I can get negative. I can get there, but I also try not to get there because it's too easy to fall into it, and it just kind of ruins your whole day when you think about how the world is like the sky's falling. I don't really like that feeling. I was gonna say something, I completely forgot it. Never mind.
If it comes back to you, share whatever.
Maybe eventually.
But yeah, that it's so true. It really, I think that one of the things that's been comforting to me is also knowing that everyone else is dealing with it at the same time. Everyone's lost something. Everyone has, gone through those stages of grief of like what our life was before and now what it's looking like. So it's amazing that those thoughts are still there, but you've been able to sort of like stop yourself in your tracks and say like, nope, not gonna let this ruin my day.
Well, the other thing that kind of comes up is that music is my life. And so, I took on students not because I had this drive to teach. People asked me if they were interested in they were interested in taking lessons with me, and then I found that I loved teaching. It's just like how weddings found me, teaching found me the same way.
Yeah.
And I realized when the pandemic hit, they were like, "You're on lockdown. What are you going to do?" I don't do anything but music. I do not know what to do. I tried to teach myself how to bake. Did not go well. Did not go very well at all.
A lot of failed banana breads.
No, but then I decided to just embrace it and say whatever free time I have, it's going to go into a creative aspect of my business, like redoing my website, taking old videos and making a mashup of them, because they were things that I wished I had the time to do and never did. I've learned a lot about making content, because now everyone is so on. I mean, the internet is so important.
Oh, yeah.
If it wasn't before, oh my gosh, now it really, really is.
Everything now.
Yeah. But now I'm actually struggling to keep up, because there's all the postponements that have come in for the fall are now sitting in a big to-do list on my desk. And so it's like, well, now I have to make sure that every single contract that goes out is perfect and ready to go for next year. And that the couples know, like, this is the safety policy. This is how it can change. And each little thing takes that much more time. Yeah. So it's funny, because I went from going, what am I going to do now, to, oh, shouldn't have asked.
Yeah. I think I'm in exactly the same boat. I'm feeling the same way right now, but it is better than sitting on your hands and doing nothing. Like, I think there's also something about having committed to so many things and done so many things at the beginning that now is just like, it sort of keeps that momentum going. Where it might also feel like it's easy to just be like, I can't do this anymore, and then sit on your hands. So it's great that you took that time at the beginning, even though it's crazy now. It's so incredibly impressive what you've done. I'm sorry, there's construction, so sorry if you can hear that. But okay. It really is. It's impressive what you've done and how positive you've stayed throughout this entire time. And the fact that you've been continuing to play, continuing to teach virtually, right?
Yeah,
which is amazing. And you even held a recital, right? Yes, that's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if they say that it's safe to be 12 feet apart without a mask, then there's no reason why I can't teach someone in my backyard. And I put them really far away, because you stay over there. But I put them over there, and we set up the music stand. Everything's disinfected. Like, the only thing you have to disinfect is really the music stand and the chair that the parent sits on. And then in June, we had an outdoor recital where everybody brought their own lawn chairs. And I have a keyboard for my wedding business, and I pulled that outside, set up an amplifier for it, took all my ceremony sound equipment, and I used the microphones from that to amplify the tiny violins so we could socially distance everybody could hear. I asked all the neighbors not to mow their lawns that day, because in the suburbia, it's the thing to do.
Yep.
So everybody paused, and there was Mozart, and there was Bach, and there was Handel, and it just filled the air. It was really cute.
That is so sweet. That's so sweet. I'm so proud of you. This is amazing. You are awesome.
It means a lot to hear you say that about me, because I see all of the things that you do, and I'm always like, how?
I feel the same about what you're doing. Really, you're incredible. It's amazing. Really, to manage everything that you're managing, all the people you're managing, the studio. It's really impressive.
When I see how you talk about how your business has grown, and you're buying another van, and you're hiring you're hiring a photographer to do this, or you're doing the recordings of your videography, I'm always enamored. You should see me at the computer being like, I want to do that. And I really that you're so many steps ahead of me, and I just look at it as a big to-do list. I'm like, well, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do that too eventually. When I can get there.
You're so sweet. I mean, that also speaks to the importance of just surrounding yourself, and even following on Instagram the people that inspire you and don't bring you down, because it's so, that's one of the things that helps me too, is just seeing other people following their dreams and doing such incredible things. I'm always like, this keeps me going. The energy of other people doing what they love and following their passions just keeps me excited, which is why I love doing this, and I love chatting with people like you. It's so awesome just to see. It fires me up every time. I'm just like, how are these people managing everything and doing everything. And it's not everything. I know that we're all human and we're not perfect, but it still is impressive, especially during this time, to be creating and, you know, managing whatever you're managing, which is a lot.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really fantastic. I like that you have this program, that you're reaching out and you're supporting other businesses and other entrepreneurs. I couldn't say that for a minute. And it's really nice to see someone who's like using their platform to lift other people up.
Oh, thank you. You're so sweet.
Oh,
I
mean it.
You're so sweet. I can't believe that we're already even past a half an hour. Like, this goes by
Sorry.
so fast every time. I could chat with you and all of my guests literally forever. Like, this is great. I would love to end on just a couple of notes. I'd love for you to share a piece of advice you have for somebody who just has a passion, I would say, for music or the arts, and wants to potentially start a business but doesn't know where to start. What's something you would say to them? And then after that, share where people can find and follow you on your Instagram accounts and your website so people can go check you out.
Okay. If I could go back and do everything differently from the way I did things, because, you know, we've discussed how it was all very organic. It kind of just fell into place. Every time I've ever wanted to make a change, I have researched what other people in my field are doing and made decisions about how I could apply that for myself. So if you wanted to start off and have your own music or arts business, look at who you're inspired by, and don't be afraid to take a page out of their book. And to reach out and connect with them. I mean, I've reached out to Erin many times going, hey, I need help. What's going on here? And it's okay. I mean, if they can answer that question, great. And at least you've made the connection, because there are a lot of us in this field. It's a small world where everybody knows everybody. So if you can be inspired by something that other people are doing and create what works for you by trial and error, I think that makes a really huge difference.
Love
what was
that.
the second part of the question? I forgot.
But such good advice. It's where people can find and follow you, your handles and your website, so people can check you out.
Oh, yes. Well, everything has something to do with Ariana. And I did not mean to name my business after myself. My last name's Straznicky. And every time that I was listed on a program, people would call me Ariana Strings. So then I just did that.
That's awesome. I love that.
But, so you can find me for my wedding business, Ariana Strings. That's Ariana_Strings. For my studio in Connecticut, where I teach children ages 3 and up, that's Ariana_Violin. But everything, all of my websites are compacted into one place. It's ctviolin.com, as in ConnecticutViolin.com.
Awesome. And I will make sure to share all of that for any of you who want to find and follow her in the comments section, in the whatever you call it, the caption, so you can find her. And thank you again for being my guest today, Ariana. You're incredible. I was so happy to chat with you. It's been very weird not seeing you at least a couple times this year. So it's wonderful to see your face and to chat with you. And congratulations on everything. Happy World Entrepreneur Day, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's
Great.
celebrate.
That's a holiday made for you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For you.
Yes.
Like, for all of us entrepreneurs, we work hard, so we deserve a day, I think.
Oh, good.
But
thank you so much for having me. It's really, I'm so flattered and honored that you chose me to be part of this. So that's really great. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who joined today. And if you're watching after, this recording is going to be available on my IGTV for you, Ariana, and for anyone else if you want to share. I'll make sure to post everything in the comments. Quick note, I am taking next week off. Drew and I are going to the March on Washington, so I will not be doing a Freelancer Live next Friday, but you can check back in September. That Friday, starting in September, I'll be back. So 2 p.m. every Friday except for next week. But thank you again, Ariana, for joining me today. Happy Friday to you, to everybody. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys again soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.